for proper planning, access management, traffic management, land use control, and above all, responsible tourism. Literature sheds light on the need for conservation as and when, for instance, it reveals to me how the Dutch taxidermist Vanningen and Vanningen in Mysore processed about 50,000 tiger and leopard trophies in less than 90 years of operation in their taxidermy factory, meaning at the rate of this only when ruling Englishmen or the Maharajas could afford to send their hunts all the way to Mysore. Those trophies adorn today museums, palaces, places which the common man cannot visit. Literature is about authors like Rachel Carson, who, through her book The Silent Spring, could shake the world out of its reverie and highlight the toxic effects of chemical pesticides amidst opposition and threats from chemical giants like DuPont and Velsicol, leading to the ultimate ban on the use of DDT. Elizabeth Colbert, who in the sixth extinction has spoken about disappearing environment. Hannah Nordas, who in the Beekeeper's Lament brought to our notice the imperceptible disappearing of colonies of bees as symptomatic of a larger malaise, a complete farming collapse, and so on. These give us the impetus to look beyond towards the criticality and urgency of finding sustainable solutions. Documented that history because of their superior resources, and to learn what glaring silences in the record of history may mean. Reading The History Men by T.C. Raghavan is to see the making of history, in this case Mughal and Maratha history. The understanding of history and the interpretation of history after assimilating different, often conflicting sources and reports. It is to appreciate that not everything is black and white, but there are shades of grey. That there are lesser known people like the Maharaja Raghubir Singh of Sitamau, who have not only created history by ruling a kingdom, but have helped to preserve it by creating a magnificent library, and have even documented history by earning spurs as a serious historian. Literature for me is to read A Population Myth by S.Y. Qureshi, which explains with statistics that it is a falsehood that is being spread, that the Muslim population will overtake that of the Hindus one day, and the political spins that are given to the narrative of Muslims being allowed to have more than one wife. On the other side, there is a voluminous tome written by Akshay Mughal it's called The Gita Press in the Making of Hindu India, which makes one realize that literature can become a tool to reflect political biases. On the one hand, Mughal describes the founder of the Gita Press, Hanuman Prasad Poddar, as the fountainhead of spirituality, and the Gita Press and its monthly publication Kalyan of drawing from Shruti, Smriti and the Puranas for their form and content, and with the larger idea to educate the masses about India's golden past, and that the contributors to Kalyan were a mix of Hindu, Muslim, Christian and Parsi spiritualists and academics, and that topmost intellectuals were pursued vigorously to contribute to Kalyan, which published, for instance, 54 articles of Gandhiji, even in the period when Poddar was critical of Gandhi's stand on Muslims, or 16 articles of Professor Hafiz Saeed of Allahabad University and others of different religious beliefs. Yet, he says, Kalyan became a propaganda vehicle in using ethno-religious appeals to build up a pro-Hindu agitational movement. As somebody who has grown up browsing through the Kalyan studiously through the 60s and 70s, because it was so dear to my family, even today, for instance, the Gita Press diary is as much an essential part of my family as it is for most families in North India.